Do you know what a seller's disclosure statement is? If you're buying or selling a house in Michigan, you need to know what that is, and we're going to talk about it next. Basically, what a seller's disclosure statement is that the sellers are disclosing the condition of the property to the best of their knowledge. They're disclosing any updates they've done, any defects in the property that they've come across, even if they've made repairs to them, they need to disclose. For example, if their roof has ever leaked, if their basement has ever flooded, if they've had something updated, if they pulled permits for something, all of that should be on the seller's disclosure statement. The Michigan Seller's Disclosure Act says that if you're selling a residential property between 1 and 4 units, you're required to fill out the seller's disclosure statement. Some purchase agreements have a line item in there that says if the buyer does not receive seller disclosure statements from the seller, the buyer can back out of the deal and mark the contract void. There are some common misconceptions that if you're a landlord or an investment owner of a property, you do not need to fill out these seller's disclosures. That is incorrect for the most part. You need to actually fill out what you do know about the condition of the property. Even if you had a renter in there, you do know possibly how old the electrical is, or if the roof's been repaired, or if the basement ever leaked. You probably would know that if you have a tenant in your property. And you need to fill those out to the best of your knowledge. Some people are exempt from filling this out, usually if there's a court order written, such as in an estate sale, a probate case, a bankruptcy, or a foreclosure. Those people are exempt from filling them out. Now, once in a while, a seller may worry about putting some truthful items on their disclosure in fear of holding up the sale on their property. For example, if their basement ever leaked. Now, you need to be truthful on your disclosure. It does say on the statement that you need to do it to the best of your knowledge and to be truthful. If you answer that incorrectly or sway on your answer a little bit, as they do sometimes, you could be committing fraud. So if the possibility of something ever comes up with the buyer in the future and they can prove that you did know about some problem with the property, they could actually take you to court. Now, going to court or arbitration can be very costly and time consuming. Just fill out the seller's disclosures to the best of your knowledge, and if there's a question, the buyer can reach out to you and ask you for clarification on something you've answered. And if you have made updates, why don't you want to disclose the updates to the furnace, that they're newer, the hot water tank, the roof, things that you've done to the property? This is a good way for you to tell the buyer all the things you've done through this disclosure statement. And why hide something in the seller's disclosure statement? The buyer is probably going to find out about those answers if they're incorrect when they do their home inspection. But bottom line is a buyer will want to do their own personal inspection, use the seller's disclosures answers as a guideline, and then just check on maybe their concerns that they have with their personal inspection. Now, something that does happen once in a while is if a buyer does a home inspection and finds something that was a problem because of their home inspection, and they do back out of the purchase agreement, the seller may have to amend the seller's disclosures to disclose that now to new buyers because they are aware of the situation. A seller, if they're questioning some of the things on the buyer's inspections, they may offer to do their own personal inspection on the property. The far safer course is to disclose the deficiency than to not disclose it at all. There is some verbiage in the purchase agreement regarding the seller's disclosure statement too sometimes. So you may want to make sure to reread what those things say in the purchase agreement and just make sure that your seller's disclosure statement is up to date. Another thing I want to point out, as a listing agent, you do not want to be involved with answering any of those questions on the seller's disclosure statement. It's a statement from the seller that they know about the condition of the property. If you try to advise them either way to answer a certain or not answer a certain question one way or the other, you could be liable too if there's ever a lawsuit where the seller could say, my agent advised me to answer this, or that was not a big deal not to disclose it. So bottom line, disclose what you can. It's better to be safe than sorry. Now what happens if you're a buyer and you close on the property and then you find out there's some mistruth on the seller's disclosure statement that the sellers did do? You probably would have to go through litigation, hire a real estate attorney, and take that seller to court. Sometimes it's very difficult to prove that the seller did know about the mistruth on the seller's disclosure statement. So it is a battle that you'd have to decide if you really want to fight, if you want to take them to court. If you like my videos, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give me a thumbs up here. Comments are welcome. I post videos, try to do them every week, so watch for the next one to come. Thanks.